Hey, welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about Ready to Love. This is season 5 episode, I believe, 8. And we are meeting the exes, okay? Before we get started, make sure that you like this video, that you are subscribed to the channel with your notification bell on, and that you drop down in the comments on who your favorite couple is so far. Clearly, things have changed around here. Y'all don't mind me multitasking. Mommy life is real. Then took my what is it, birth braids out. Got the baby on the boob. Y'all just better know that I enjoy coming to y'all and talking about my TV show. So let's go ahead and get into it. This week is men's decision week. We get the task from Tommy that it is time to meet the exes. And all of the men seem extremely frazzled by it. Some of the men that are the most frazzled are Frank and Phil. I wonder why Phil is so frazzled. I mean, seeing as how he has 1,000,002 connections. The first date we see is Cornelius with his ex. I think her name was Nikita, Tanika, whatever. We ain't gonna see her no more. It don't matter. And what I found interesting was that when Camille came over, she didn't know that she was coming over to meet an ex. Like Cornelius had to spring it on her that there was an extra person there for the date. So they get in there, and the biggest issue that that Cornelius's ex is seeing is that Camille has been engaged not once, not twice, but 3 times. And so what makes her want to be serious in this relationship? Because to anyone who is sane, they would think, other than the red flags that Camille has already showed, that her being engaged 3 times is another red flag. And another thing that I just found interesting is, why is Camille so crazy when she gets ready to leave from the date? She's like, well, when is she leaving? I mean, what time is she? Like, Cornelius, I need you to run. Because she's the type of woman that'll leave you chopped up in the freezer somewhere when you decide you want to leave. Because you gonna want to leave. Y'all think she's the one that's a runaway bride. I don't believe the men wanted her. We see Phil. You know, Phil was a hot topic last week. Well, this week we see Shiloh and Tasia go meet Phil's ex. And I've said it before in my reviews. Tasia, even though she wants to appear confident, you can see the insecurities in her. And they definitely showed themselves in the interaction with this ex. She got kind of defensive, it looked like, and the ex was just trying to be open and, you know, talk to them. This would have been your time to take the route that Shiloh did. Ask the ex some questions, get to know some things about Phil, some red flags about Phil, versus kind of shutting down. She seemed like she was shut down from the beginning when she saw that it wasn't just her. And I don't understand why you thought it would be just you. You found out last week that it wasn't just you. So you should have came in here with the mindset knowing that, you know, you're not his only interaction. So go with the flow. I didn't like that. Tasia's going home this week. Next we see Mumin, Frank, and Sydney. And they meet with his ex. And the girls really seem to get along. Apparently they're all fire signs. That y'all that do astrology must know what that means. I don't get it, but okay. And they all really clicked. And Sydney came in there prepared like she was finna do an interview. She had questions for the ex, which I could appreciate, because this is your chance to kind of try to get to know him on another level. The ex ultimately said that these are 2 very different women, and she doesn't know which one would better fit with Frank, even though because he wants like a family and stuff like that. And they both said that they want families, but like in different ways. Sydney said that she wanted a family like eventually, like she's open to it type of stuff, versus Mumin, who's like, I mean, I'm getting up there, I need it in the next few years. Honestly, I think that Frank would probably end up going with Sydney over Mumin because of the physical chemistry that they have, but I don't see it lasting long. What you say, Ma? You agree?
Mm-hmm. And Mumin also sort of, it was like a jab at the other girl. She said, at this age, we ought to know what we want.
But is it, actually, I think she's older too, though. She's older than the Sydney girl.
But she said we.
Yeah, that's valid.
She was talking about him.
Oh, I thought.
Yeah, she said.
You know.
She said at his age, he should know. But. She
You were thinking it was a jab at the other girl.
You know, as if woman to woman, and we at this age, we ought to know what we want.
Yeah, but he's gonna go at 71 because they known each other previously. They enjoy the same thing. Like he's a nightlife type of dude, and she's a church girl. Those don't mix.
You mean being a church girl?
Mm-hmm.
It's not gonna mix, but also them two nightlife people ain't gonna. That ain't no long-term sustainability.
Like you said, he looking at the physical, and that ain't gonna sustain him.
Oh, look at her nails. Now I love me some nails, but man, wait a minute. Walter invites Mumine and Sabrina out to meet his long-nailed ex. Honey, and y'all know I love a good nail. But I was not ready for them to come up on the screen in them neon yellow paint. But anyway, if you're going to do it, I mean, I guess. Anywho, Sabrina comes first. She seemed to be taken aback that she was going to be meeting her ex as well. And she was really taken aback when Mumine ended up coming a little bit later. And as poised as I think Sabrina has been throughout this process, this was the first time that she kind of seemed thrown off her block a little bit. She seemed not as smooth as I normally see her interact. And I don't know if it was because she was thrown off by the ex and by Mumine, but she seemed stern and not approachable, not nice. And I think, and the ex said that she picked up on her possibly being controlling and crazy. And I never saw that in Sabrina before, but this interaction just was not a pleasant one for her. But when Mumine came in there, she was being sweet. She was being flirty. She was being, honestly, she seemed like she was more into Walter than she was into Frank. And they, of course, bring up the topic of sex. And y'all know that Mumine is celibate until marriage. And Walter has made it clear in the past that sex is very important in his relationship. So I don't know how far that is really going to go. But the ex is definitely leaning towards Mumine more, which is making Walter have to make a decision. We also see Dante with Zadia and his ex. And Zadia, I guess, you know, she's sitting there. I'm starting to not like Zadia. Let me say that. I'm starting to see this attitude in Zadia.
She gives Kyra vibes.
Yeah, she gives Kyra vibes.
Yep.
It's just, it's not a pleasant attitude. It's like, we saw a little bit last week of her cattiness, and we're starting to see it a little bit more this week. Shiloh comes, and Shiloh is just like an open type of person, like a sweet type of person. She seems like she can kind of get along and flow well in any type of situation. So when they're sitting there talking with the ex, she's asking questions, trying to get to know the changes and the positives of Dante. Meanwhile, Zadia wants to get to know the red flags and the dirt. And the ex is leaning to more towards Shiloh because she feels like she's digging for gold versus Zadia digging for dirt. And I don't blame Zadia for wanting to know the red flags, because if you're talking to somebody's ex, they're ex for a reason, so they can kind of give you a little bit more insight into, you know, you see the representative. The friend gonna help you see the representative. An ex gonna be like, alright, but this is the real. So I don't mind asking that, but you gotta have a little balance. And Zadia seemed like her wall was up, and I don't know, I'm just not feeling her vibe no more. I liked her in the beginning, but I'm not feeling her vibe no more.
And now I
understand
that
I don't like this ex. This ex don't seem like she want to be too ex out.
She's trying to be back in.
I mean,
I kind of do.
I don't know about that ex neither now.
What's your love language? Do you know?
And I just see off in the distance. It's fine.
Naeem, I completely forgot all about Naeem. Naeem takes Zadia to meet his ex. I'm not finna go through their whole conversation. I'm gonna tell you the vibe I got. The vibe I got is that their ex don't want to be an ex. Okay? Zadia, for some reason, Zadia felt like this date went well. She left feeling confident, she say. I think the only reason why she left feeling confident is because she was the only one on the date and there was no competition. And from what I'm starting to pick up from Zadia is that she does not want to feel like she has to compete with the next woman. So as long as she feel like she number one, she happy. But girl, was you not picking up what the ex was putting down? Making little slick comments about, oh, he just didn't want to cuddle me. Oh, I just know he just like big butts. I ain't trusted. I ain't trusted. Then my next question is this random date we have with Sydney and Phil. I am confusion. Because now we just seen last week that Phil already got 3 other connections. Why would Sydney go out of her way to try to be the 4th connection? I understand she said that she was intrigued by him, but I don't know. It just seems weird to me. They had a nice interaction at the gym. It was cute enough, I guess, whatever. You know, they all looking at the physicality of it all. Because Sydney's a beautiful woman. And Phil's a nice looking guy. But don't you think it's a little late in the game to be trying to make another connection? Phil, now, I said I liked you last week. I said that. Don't make me take it back. Don't make me take it back. I just got questions.
Now, what's the girl name?
Sydney.
Sydney is trying to put several eggs in several baskets.
Because she knew.
So when it comes to elimination time,
Mm-hmm.
you see what she got a strategy going.
I understand, but you just picked. Phil already got enough women to choose from.
And then she want to see. And it could be a thing where she come in at the end and see if she can make a... Yeah. And so, she got a strategy.
I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. It seems Jezebelish to be.
It is.
Delilah's spirit. What you say? Barracuda-ish. It do.
That's what it seems
to me. Real Barracuda-ish to me too now. We see the men at the men's lounge. And they go through their dates. We've already gone through that. Not going to go through. We do notice that Aisha was not there this week for whatever reason. But she is not on the chopping block. As far as Cornelius and Camille, Tommy says that Cornelius is just missing these red flags. Everybody sees these red flags apparently but Cornelius. Cornelius is willfully blind, I guess. I don't know. They start to talk about the women that they don't see it for. As I've been saying since the top of this review, Tasia is not on the fan favorite list. Camille's name comes up a little bit, but they kind of let it slide because apparently that's Cornelius's only real connection, so they want him to be able to stay. Meanwhile, Cornelius turns around. Walter was the main one saying that now. Meanwhile, Cornelius turns right around and says Sabrina, which is Walter's number 1 connection, I thought. Or, well, he says 1A, 1B between Sabrina and Mumine. And a few of the other men bring up Sabrina's name as well. So it looks like the bottom 2 are going to be Tasia and Sabrina. Frank takes out Sabrina. Phil takes out Tasia. We're going to see who is on the chopping block. Ultimately, I'm not going to go through the ins and outs. Ultimately, Tasia is on the chopping block. She goes home. We already knew she was going home. But this interaction between Frank and Sabrina was very telling. Number 1, it tells us that they ain't showing us the real Sabrina for real. Like, apparently everybody else that's there has seen the side of Sabrina that we have not been privy to seeing. Even Walter's ex kind of said that she got a little crazy in her. And now I'm starting to see maybe she do got a little bit of crazy. Like, she popped off on Frank, okay? She was popping off on Frank. She say, I'm out here, I'm texting people, and I text you, you ain't text me back. This week, the men's supposed to make the decisions on the women. Ain't nobody hit me up but Walter. Why do I keep putting myself out here? I might as well date the women. Women will love me as much as I pursue. I say, all right, Sabrina, it's showing a different side of Sabrina. And at this point, it looks like she is uninterested in trying to connect with the men. And most of the men are uninterested in trying to connect with her. As a matter of fact, when you think about the men that's left, most of them have made it clear that they don't have children and want children. And she doesn't. So that is possibly the reason why she ain't making no other connections, because I mean, that's a deal breaker for many people. And it looks like she's going to be uninterested in trying to move forward and trying to connect next week. But we'll see about it next week. Y'all drop down in the comments and tell me what you thought about tonight's episode. Who are your top connections? And I'll see y'all next week. Peace.